Hi, everybody. This is Geronimo from the Beyond Taboo podcast, and I'm here joined by Coach Xavi. How's everything going, mate? All good?
All good, all good.
Nice,
Can't
nice,
wait to
nice.
start another conversation.
Great. Yeah, today we have an interesting one. We won't get too technical today, guys. I was talking with Xavi, and we thought, okay, maybe we can try something different. And I was thinking, okay, maybe it could be interesting to talk about, well, your perspective. And I'm not sure you know, guys. I'm sure you know, Xavi is a coach, a penal training coach for quite a while. But also he's a content creator. He has been creating content for Onlyfans for how long, Xavi?
Oh, at this point, I think we are in nearly 3 years.
3 years. 3 years. So
Yeah, maybe a
quite an
little less.
experience. Quite an
Yeah,
experience. So I was thinking,
for
okay,
sure.
maybe it would be interesting to hear about your perspective. I mean, having this, um, this vision from what it takes to be a coach and also a content creator. You've had a very close glimpse of how the sexual landscape looks. So, yeah, I was thinking if you could tell me a little bit about, how do you see the current sexual landscape for men? What do you feel is going on? I mean, do you see any, let's say, patterns when it comes to being a coach and when it comes to connecting with your fans, on your platform where you share content?
Okay. So maybe we can start with how I I went from one thing to the other. Uh,
Yeah, let's
because
do that. That would be interesting. Yeah, I think that's a good
uh,
start.
I actually started coaching. I don't know if we already talked about that, but I started to do coaching after I administered a forum years ago. And
Hmm.
I was following and doing programs for, I think, 2,500 members, not
Wow.
all together, but they were a lot. I was much younger than that, and I could find time to do that. After a certain point, I didn't have any more time to do that with this platform. So I switched to personal coach in order to follow a few person uh, better than I could do with too much people altogether. And I started my OnlyFans channel in order to do lessons for my students.
Wow.
And for the other guys, I couldn't follow properly on an everyday basis.
That's very
So
interesting.
the initial motivation was to upload lessons, technical lessons for those who were interested in that.
Hmm.
And then I realized that people wasn't particularly interested in that thing, at least on that platform. So I switched to other kind of contents,
You
which
embraced it.
yeah. I took the opportunity to discover that side of me too, and it
And
was really funny. But
yeah, I'm sure. And
I
how
must
was
admit,
that? Sorry, how was that that moment when you realize, okay, maybe I need to shift my approach and do this other thing instead?
um, I'm I love to experiment. So and I'm also uh, a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously. So even my approach on there was I think a funny one, a playful one. And so for me, it was a way to experiment and play for the most. I I love to explore the cliche, and also I love costumes and switching from character to character because I'm an actor, so I love to do very silly things.
That's nice, man.
And
You were in your game, like you were nailing it.
yeah, yeah. To me, sex is a game. Is a really happy and funny game if you take it not too seriously.
That's a nice perspective, you know. I once watched a TED talk. I can't remember the person that was giving the talk. It was a sexologist, I think, a woman, and she was saying, "Well, I really think the problem is that we are not treating sex like a hobby, like a game. You know, it's pretty much, you know, if we treat it like that and we see the fun we can feel out of it,
Yeah,
it stops being like for some, because I guess usually for a lot of people it sort of transforms into a burden sometimes, like a compromise, a commitment, sorry, like oh, I need to have sex, you know.
oh, that's terrible. That's one of the most terrible things I can think of.
Yeah, but it can happen, you know. I don't know, being, I don't know, in a
Yeah,
relationship for 10 years, 20 years, and okay, shall we get intimate tonight? You know, and it feels a little bit structured. So,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like your approach is great, mate. And
That. I think that's because people do too much comparison and feel the weight of being too of the performance
hmm,
of that,
hmm,
and so they lose the playful part, which is the one that makes you easy, and that makes you feel easy, and
you're right. Yeah. I was also thinking, in a way, the playful part is somehow the more genuine part, in a sense, like the way someone can really be themselves, you know, like being yourself, like discovering what you like, what you're into, in even new
yeah.
things about you.
This is a deep exploration what you are talking about now. But before going so deep, there's the possibility to at least in the socials not to be always yourself. It is good to be yourself,
That's
and
true.
people
That's true.
understand. People are not stupid, so they understand when you are yourself. But you can also play a part. The most important thing is that you don't mix the two, or finish to live your character.
Hmm.
If you understand what I mean.
Like breaking
Uh,
suddenly the character, you mean?
Yeah, those are pornography. Okay, is a play of masks. Okay,
That's true.
at least
Good
the
point.
kind of pornography
Every
I
time.
like. And so it's a creation of scenarios, a creation of characters, and personally, I tend to annoy myself if the character is always the same. So I keep switching from a thing to another
Hmm.
and see what's good in that particular mask.
Hmm.
What can be found in a particular scenario. Okay, and that makes me want to keep going on and not feel the weight of doing such a thing, because I don't want for that to be a weight.
No, for sure, no, for sure. And I was thinking, your how was that first response from your followers, from your fans, when you decided, okay, I'll do this instead? Like, what was the initial response? Like, it was positive? Did they like what you brought to the table? Like this whole role play? How did that go?
So the first thing, okay, my contents have changed over time, obviously, because I had to adjust and to understand what worked and what didn't work. But my main fear at the beginning was, in part, was that there was no need for other contents like that. So I tried to do very peculiar things. The same fact that my body is not average played a part in that. So my main fear was that I could take bad maybe complaints or bad comments,
like hate,
because they
something like that.
Yeah, because what I do is a sort of niche. Okay. And so I was afraid of that. I was afraid to show my face at the very start of the channel.
So it was a process. Like initially you started without showing your face, and then you incorporated.
Yeah. In my first video, I did also my lessons were done doing with a mask.
Oh,
okay.
Do you remember how was the mask?
Yeah, I can take it if you want.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Hey, just leave it here a moment.
Well, I find it interesting, I mean, a mask can also tell a lot about someone, I'm already wondering if it will be a before Vendetta mask.
No. It was
nice. A burglar.
Okay. That was very Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you're right. Looks pretty much like a Mortal Kombat mask. That's nice.
So I used that for my first videos, and then I simply understood that for first thing, the comments were very positive, so people understood maybe what I was doing. I really received very few bad comments. And I saw that the part of the game was to show myself, and as an actor, my face was important in that. I had to show that. So I use that as a tool.
But I guess it started being also an interesting process when it comes to how you feel about yourself, in a sense, I mean, after all, you're getting all these nice comments, and I'm sure it's nice. Like,
yeah. Well, one thing I noticed, and that other people that watch that kind of contents told me is that people who do this kind of contents usually lose some sense of reality. I explain. They when you keep receiving good comments and worships, you start to think that you deserved them. Okay, and you start to
that's interesting,
to think that they need to keep coming for because you are good. You're good and you deserve it. But No, you remain a guy like anyone else
Hmm.
with just that particular thing that you do. But I hated to. Um, I didn't want to become in real life, obviously. And when I wasn't playing a mask,
Hmm.
I didn't want to become someone else.
Hmm.
I didn't want to think I deserved any kind of worship. I'm a really average guy, and the fact that you can do some kind of contents online allows you to develop maybe not a self-esteem, but I don't know the word, but
Confidence,
an
maybe?
an uneasiness. Okay,
Oh,
you
okay,
become
okay.
okay in what you do.
Hmm.
In my real life, I am pretty shy. Okay, even though I'm 43 and I do things online, but in my real life, I'm pretty shy. Yeah. When I do my contents video, I don't feel so because I registered in a comfortable environment. I have control over what I do,
Hmm.
so it's pretty easy. And being so, I can focus more on what on the artistic part of the thing. Okay, so where do I want to put the camera? How do I want to create um, a certain effect? How will I edit uh, that part and so on? Okay, so my mind was more focused on that
Hmm.
than on okay, I'm naked. What will happen now? Okay,
Okay, makes sense, makes
so
sense. I was wondering, do you remember like what was the idea that you like the best, or yeah, like that one video or role you play that you like the most, or even that your followers like the most?
okay, I think that there are two things that do work best. The first one is to listen to what people wants to watch. Okay,
Hmm.
so I'm always open to understand to go out of my comfort zone, and as I said, to experiment very particular things. There are people who asked me to do macro micro video, which means I don't know. These are particular fetish. So the macro fetish is for to have a relationship between one micro person to a giant.
Okay.
And that was okay. I didn't know what to do, but I bought a little mannequin
All
and
right.
I did things with that. Okay, so a sort of stop motion video
Oh, that's quite
with
creative,
dial
mate. You really
with written dialogue like a mute movie from the early days.
that's that's quite
No,
creative,
not,
mate.
not not the usual porn.
No, not really.
But I love that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that worked very very good, I could say, is to create a returning character
Hmm.
and a sort of story which develops in a sort of series of episodes. So there was a guy who asked me to play a sort of werewolf. Okay,
Okay.
a person suffering from lycanthropia. And so, since there's plenty of contents about that, I could explore.
Yeah, you could take references.
Yeah, the moment of infection and the moment of realization, what happens if I transform in particular situation. And I saw that people love that kind of things.
That's interesting. You know, you have a
And I
quite.
love to do that.
Hmm. No, I can imagine you have a quite creative community around yourself, mate.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I'm not always doing that kind of things. For the most part, it's easier to do more simple things like set of pics and trying maybe different clothes and so on.
Hmm.
But personally, I love more the stories and the scenarios,
Oh,
and
for
I
sure.
see
Yeah.
when I do that. When I do that, I have a good feedback with them.
Well, makes sense for sure. I mean, sounds interesting, and it sounds fun to every time make a different story.
Oh, and another thing that works well when it comes to that is to create a relationship. Uh,
Hmm.
so you create a scene, a play with a relation, and I'm not just talking about proper sex. I'm
Okay.
talking about a relation.
In
So
what sense?
uh,
What do you mean with relation?
um, addressing to the people,
Okay.
answering
Okay.
what they okay. But not only that, also enacting relationships with other people. I have my boyfriend who sometimes help me with my videos. So I
Quite a
make him
challenge.
play too.
Quite a
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah. It's a bit challenging. Yeah. Because he is much more shy than me and he doesn't want to show his face.
Well, makes sense,
So
you know. I mean,
yeah, we end up with me showing my face and him masked.
he inherited the mask.
Yeah, he inherited the mask, or I have to find some way to not film his face, so he's always out of focus or higher or
Well,
lower.
yeah, that's also a very creative part. It is a huge decision, you know. I mean, there's a ton of creators that just keep on creating content without ever showing their face, which is understandable. You know, it's a big decision,
Yeah.
and I think the compositions, where you cut, where you frame, is also a very creative part. You know, and there's people that still consume and support creators that just keep going creating content without ever showing their face, you know, and like
Yeah, it's true.
either that's with mask or blurring the eyes or just
Mhm.
cutting here, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah, it works because even that part is a creation of a mask, and
mm,
I'm talking about the character.
for sure.
Okay, in Italy, there are people on YouTube who does contents with mask and not on OnlyFans, on YouTube.
Yeah, like normal
This
content to me.
works.
Mm.
Yeah, this works somehow. Uh, um, but personally, uh, after a while, I find this thing a limit. So if I want to do an altogether different kind of contents, I have to present a different kind of character,
Mm.
and I couldn't do them always with the mask on.
Mm. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it sounds quite
That
challenging.
was my approach.
Mm.
That was my approach. But the mask works for sure. It is it is part of the fetish
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
too.
Oh, and then
Obviously.
what's like the most challenging part? I'm sure discipline and being constant is a challenge when you know we have our lives, you know, and our responsibilities and commitments. But besides that, uh, what other challenges do you face when you create content? I mean, after all, you have built a community, you have a relationship.
Yeah.
Have you been in moments where that relationship, I don't know, took you to unexpected places, not like geographically, but in terms of situations, you know?
Okay. Uh, mm, in a first time, I thought that the most difficult part would be to do that kind of contents um, and and leave my relationships on an everyday basis, especially with my boyfriend, on a easy and normal way. I was afraid that he wouldn't understand what I was doing and so on.
That's a common
But
challenge.
yeah, yeah, and not every relationship works with that. I have been lucky because my companion understood what I was doing and approached that in a playful way too. I managed to
That's nice.
took him in the game. Okay, so he usually is a very jealous one, but when he saw that that was a play in which he had a part, that wasn't that big problem. Okay, the real problem is what you said, to be consistent. That is a pain in the ass. That is really complicated because maybe you don't need to be that consistent, but I try to come out with 4 or 5 new contents each week,
Oh, that's
which
a
is a
lot.
lot.
It is a lot.
Especially considering I also have a work and the coaching and everything else, and my workouts and so on.
It is a
So
lot.
that requires a real discipline
For
in
sure.
order to keep doing that for years.
But somehow, I mean, you have worked your discipline, I mean, for ages, you know. I mean, with the PE stuff,
Yeah.
so you already had like the skills. I mean, you certainly sound like a disciplined person. So I'm not saying it wouldn't be easy, but you are a disciplined guy.
I'm lucky. I'm obsessive compulsive. Yeah.
Which
So
can be
yeah.
a great thing sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. For PE, that's for sure. But also in order to create content, that helps. The problem comes when you face complicated periods. The most difficult thing I faced so far was when I built my channel about my growth, okay, or in general my peculiar body, okay. So when it happened that I had to undergo a series of treatments, which took me much more time than I thought. I went doing treatments from September 2024 up to August 2025.
Wow.
So yeah, nearly an entire year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I asked myself what I could do in that period of time, since I thought that that could last 1, 2, or 3 months, and maybe I could use I don't know, old materials, okay, and redo some old materials. But when it goes on for 1 year straight, it becomes difficult to create new contents when you can't show what's going on.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, so you had
So
to get really creative, I guess.
yeah, yeah, forcefully, yeah. So I try to do more lessons. I try to reuse old materials, but also find some ways to keep entertaining people with what I could show. So not maybe what interested them, but to suggest what they wanted to watch. Okay. And I must say that it worked.
Nice.
I couldn't believe that, but people kept watching even when I couldn't show too much.
Well, sometimes not showing so much really is the turn on.
Yeah, exactly. And what you asked me if there was a pattern between PE and the contents on, and I can say that the pattern is that you must understand what are the psychological movements, okay, that people have, okay. You when you do PE, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing these things? What are the pros? What are the cons? What I want to reach? Do I want to focus on a particular thing, and why? And yeah, also when it comes to show, you have to understand the psychological issues and what works for me and for those who are watching.
For sure.
So, and it's more about that than about the results and the show off. Okay, it's the promise, it's the sense of continuation and of improving when it comes to be. Than the real thing. Okay, so I try to explain better. You may just gain 1 centimeter, so 1 centimeter, but if you see that you are gaining, this is the best motivation you can have, even if it's 1 centimeter.
For sure.
Okay, and
yeah, for some it's all it takes to feel better.
Yeah, the sensation of going somewhere, of seeing something developing, or something that goes better and better. Okay, and yeah, as for the contents, it is the promise to come back better. Okay, but also the promise of something that you can show or touch, but that's still there.
Makes sense, mate. Yeah, for sure.
So it's more psychologically than physical.
Makes sense. But you mentioned your treatments finish, so I guess you're back, in the game. So how that's going?
Actually, yeah.
How that's going?
So far, pretty good. I was afraid that going back to grow could be a problem because I had inflamed the zone, and when I started again, I could experience the same problems, but that wasn't the case, and also the aesthetical results were better. So I really can't complain.
Nice. Glad to hear that, mate. So you're back in the game.
Yeah.
Xavi, I was
And
wondering.
hopefully that would improve more.
For sure. Xavi, I was wondering, thanks for sharing all your journey. It's really interesting. Makes you think, okay, maybe at some point I could give it a try, I mean, it sounds fun, mate. I must say that. I was. Go, sorry.
No, I don't want to pass the wrong impression that it's too easy.
Oh no, that's for sure. I mean, that's the usual thing you get to hear. I mean, it's not easy.
No. It can be fun. It can be done with a certain mindset. But in order to achieve some results, you have to put energy and effort. This is true for the contents, and this is true for the penis enhancement.
Yeah,
You
for life in general.
have to be really serious with that.
For sure. Yeah, that's true. Mate, being a coach, being a creator for so long, to close this episode, what advice you could give to guys to better enjoy sex or the sex lives?
To first of all, to talk as much as you can with anyone else who is involved in the sex with you. This will allow you to avoid problems, and this will make you more comfortable in order to show what you really are, what you need in that moment. That can vary from time to time, and so on. And the other thing is to keep trying to understand yourself. You maybe you think you have understood what you want, but sometimes you have to go over your comfort zone, question yourself, and then go back with that acquired experience.
Yeah, like uncharted territory for sure.
Yeah. Every step you do over what you normally do will allow you to understand another side of you and make you more complete. This is true for your sex life, but as for every part of your life in general.
That's actually beautiful advice, mate. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing your journey and your experience. I had a lot of fun, so really appreciate you being so open about this. Would love to do this again. Hopefully, you'll bring you anecdotes or also other anecdotes we didn't have the time to cover.
We haven't told about anecdotal episodes. I have
For
some.
sure.
Yeah.
Many
For the
thanks,
next
man.
part.
Yeah, definitely,
Thank you.
definitely. So, guys, now you know what it takes to for life and to create content. Don't forget, we have a seat open for coaching with Xavi. If you like this episode or if you have any questions for him, don't forget to follow and to comment and to like this video. And yeah, like if you have any special request about topics to discuss, please let us know. It is always a pleasure to have this space. So thanks, Xavi, for being here today, and thanks everyone for watching. Bye, mate.
Thank you.